Now I am really excited for this fight.
Yeah, me too, mate. I mean, I know a lot about both guys. Geoff Ogendo, very good fighter from Gym 21. Had some real tough fights in his amateur career so far. And then Liam Davies from Blackledge MMA. Real tough training partner. Very strong.
What we've seen from this evening, you know, anyone who's watching the fights all the way through now, is that Tom Blackledge is putting out a decent stable of fighters. Every single one of them has been tough.
And they're taking on proper fighters as well. If you look at the, there you go, a very good wrestling background from Liam. He's wrestled for a good few years now. Very strong wrestler. He's also got really good submissions, and one to watch for from him is his head and arm triangle. Very nice.
Well, he certainly looked there like he just didn't want to really be involved in the stand-up. He wanted to get it to the floor and work straight away.
Yeah, that's what he's good at. That's what he does. And you know, and he can pass guard. He's strong on the floor. He can throw shots, and he can start. See, he's looking to set that arm triangle up every time, constantly.
It looks like he's already dealing.
Yeah.
You know, if he can pass over the guard, get that locked up.
And he can. You know what? He finishes people very strong every time.
Now, I've always said wrestling's a key part of MMA, without doubt. You know, a good wrestler decides where the fight goes. They can decide if the fight stays standing or if it goes to the floor. That's what he's done there. You know, he's come out. I want this fight on the floor. I want to be submitted. So he uses good wrestling, gets it to the floor, and this is where he wants to be.
And dominate the fight. Demoralise your opponent as well, don't you, Ian? From being on top and
yeah, certainly. I mean, if you've got a guy who's a good jiu-jitsu guy and you can keep him stood up, you can demoralise him.
Going back to what I was saying, you see that he's setting the head and arm up straight away.
Setting up from a mile off.
Constantly. That's what he does. He's
but will Geoff Ogendo he'll know that. You know, he's going to watch the videos and he's going to know he's good at that move.
Yeah, Geoff is a very intelligent fighter and has been, you know, his whole career so far. He's done very well against very good opponents. You know, he's had a lot of big wins. And Liam, you know, he does it hard, but his submissions are very good.
And again, you know, like I was saying earlier, it's a personal preference of mine. You know, if I get to this sort of position, I'd rather move him out away from the fence. You know, I think the guy who's on the bottom can use the fence to try and wall walk, or can try and stand up,
like he's doing now.
Exactly. I would have moved him into the centre and just tried to work from the centre of the ring.
The best way to do it is pull his hips out there, isn't it, and pull him off the cage.
Exactly right. Yeah. Don't let him use the cage to his advantage. But at the moment, fairly dominant here from Liam Davies.
Yeah, he's a strong kid, and he's going to pass from that half guard, from that side control, sorry, into maybe half guard, but the cage is hindering him.
Yeah,
now it's not.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It is.
It is. And I think the cage was the problem there. And now we've got Geoff. Let's see what Geoff can do from here. Geoff needs to cross face, make a little bit of space so he can start to fire the shots in. I think he might be listening.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. You know, Liam can go for an armbar from this position though. He can go for an armbar and take that right leg. Left leg.
It's a dying seconds this round, really. We want to see something from one of them, you know. Can Liam just, you know, take that risk, go for an armbar, go for a submission? He's not got much time left. Or can Geoff fire the shots in, put him against the fence, fire some shots in before the finish?
And that's it, you know, Liam needs to use his hips and go for that armbar possibly.
Both of them now, like I said, last 10 seconds now of the round. Great work.
Really good first round again, Ian. Some very, in fact, extremely good MMA action so far tonight.
Yes, dominated there by Liam Davies. But we saw Geoff at the end, reverses the position, starts to work it himself, and showed, look, I'm still in this fight. Don't think it's all your game.
Absolutely, mate. And you know, Geoff Ogendo is no idiot. He's a very tough kid. He can finish fights. In fact, he's finished all of his fights that he's won. So, you know, the guy knows how to get a win.
Well, I think certainly he'll grow in confidence from that little bit, that little final ending to the round there. You know, he got the top position, he landed some good strikes, and I think he'll be growing in confidence.
Definitely. I mean, you know, Liam was a title contender on FCC going back about a year ago. He fought against a very tough Lee Richardson, and he ended up. He basically, it was his first loss. He got submitted from him, but he reckons he's learned so much from that, and I can believe he has.
But I've always said, you know, it's the way you come back from a loss that defines you as a fighter.
Yeah.
And you do learn more from your losses possibly than you do from your wins. I always try to look at my wins and say, look, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
But it's easy to get complacent, whereas a loss teaches you a lesson.
And that's a great takedown. He waited for that Superman punch and he took him straight down. So let's see what Liam can now do from the top position, which we know he's good at.
The timing and level change there was perfect.
So he's taking him to Tom's corner.
Now, this is definitely where he wants to be, yeah.
So, again, Ian, we've spoken about this tonight, but to have someone like Tom talk to you in the corner, what is that like?
Like I said, it's immeasurable the positiveness it can give you. You know, you've got someone like that with that much skill, that much experience, giving you step-by-step instructions on what you're doing when you're in a dominant position already. Invaluable.
Oh, and he's throwing some shots down there, some real
huge shots there, huge shots from Liam.
Some big left hands from Liam.
And look at the calm instruction there from Tom, just giving him calm instruction, telling him exactly what to do.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's got his brother in the corner there as well. And he's also got Lee as well. You know, Dave Lee as well, who's a very, very, you know, he's been around the sport. He's cornered Tom Blatterge in the past as Dave Lee. So to have that corner, it's a big thing, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, certainly. And we're seeing it's winning for him so far. You know, he's won the first round. He's definitely ahead in this round. He's overwhelming Ogendo more than anything. You know, he seems lost for what can he do. I think the only, you know, he got the sweep in the first round, but that may be a little bit of a Liam Davies mistake. You know, it wasn't an unforced error. You know.
And don't forget, Ian, this is a 5-round amateur fight. This is a 5-round amateur title fight. You know, Liam is a very fit kid, and he's dominating Ogendo so far. And going to the last couple of rounds, this could really dominate. Could really tire out Ogendo, couldn't it?
Yeah, well, he certainly do the right thing by not throwing everything into the first 2 rounds. You're winning, you're comfortably winning. Get the shots in, sort of grind them down. You know, there's no reason for him to rush to try and get a finish now, whereas he might get it in the 3rd, 4th round where he's tired out.
So he's looking to pass into that side control, isn't it? Which is his favourite position. You know why? Because he'll either go for an head and arm triangle here, or he might go for the north-south shot, which I know he's very good at, but he's not going to do that against Cage, is he, mate?
Again, it's one of those things that, you know, as soon as I pass guard, or even if I pass to half guard, I tend to try and move away from the cage. Unless you're just going to use ground and pound, you don't want to be against the cage. You want to be in open space, because they can use the cage to either wall walk, push themselves off. Again,
like Geoff is trying to do now. So you're absolutely right there, mate.
I mean, that's just something I found from experience over time. You know, as soon as it starts to pass, move it into open space.
See, I think Liam needs to just drag his head off the cage here and really show his dominance by doing that. That can demoralise a fighter, can't it? You drag him off the cage, you really pick where you want the fight to go.
Certainly, and that cage control, you know, it's all scoring points as well.
So we're coming to the end of the second of possible 5 rounds, and what are your thoughts so far, Ian?
Oh, certainly 2 rounds up there for Liam Davies. I think that round was more dominant than the first. Like I said, that unforced error that Liam made in the first round, which gave Ogendo the top position, I think he learned from that, and he's not going to make that mistake again.
So, with your coaching background, Ian, if you was Ogendo's coach right now, what would you be saying to him?
Well, I think he needs to come out, he needs to be aware that straight away Liam is going to take you down, he's going to try and take you down. So he needs to come out more than having that wide stance he had before, which is difficult to sprawl quickly from. You know, rather than coming out with that wide stance, which is set really for his striking, he needs to come out thinking, avoid the takedown, try and get your shots in, avoid the takedown, or maybe try and get one of your own.
Yeah, and that you know,
his most successful time was on the top.
Yeah, he was absolutely right in front of us there, wasn't he, Ian? Where he got the top position and he started throwing a few really hard, heavy shots down. And that, you know, and again, as a fighter on the bottom, taking heavy shots is not nice, is it?
No, certainly not.
But we're working now to the 3rd round, and let's see how this 3rd round of the title fight goes. I can see Liam possibly going for another takedown straight away.
But again, you see that wide stance now. They blocked into the takedown quicker, so that was similar to what I was saying.
You see, he's gone for a trip there.
There we go, and that is exactly what I told you Ogendo needs to do, get that top position. So he's done well there. Now what he needs to do now is make sure he doesn't get swept, keep a nice wide base. You know, as the Hicks and Gracie used to say, they're all 3 points of contact. Make sure you've got that triangle, strong wide triangle, to keep a strong solid base.
Yeah, and this could be a different kind of round now, couldn't it, mate? Now you've got Ogendo on top. We've seen what he did at the end of the first round, which wasn't enough to win the round, but it was enough to show us what he can do. He's now at the start of a round, he's in charge, and he's showing what he can do.
That's what he needs to do, but he's been tied up very well by Liam Davies, stopping him from firing any significance at all. But, you know, he's got the takedown, he's got his position. You know, if this goes all the way on, he just lands a few shots, chopping shots, keeps busy enough to not get stood up. You know, Brad Coleman will be looking on very carefully. As long as he keeps busy enough not to get stood up, he'll win this round just on points the same.
Yeah, when you talk about staying busy, What do you mean by that? Is that more just about the shots that you're throwing?
No, I mean, if you're just throwing little tapping shots, you're not going to get anywhere. He needs to be doing something significant, showing that he can do the chopping shots, doing a bit of damage. If he's not, the referee will warn him of lack of action, and he'll stand it back up. Which
he is doing right now.
It just said there, I need more than this.
Yeah, because you want to see, I'm going back to Tito Ortiz days where he was throwing shots from the guard, throwing power. I mean, this is the old Tito Ortiz before TRT.
Yeah.
But he was throwing shots to knock someone out, wasn't it? Every shot from the guard was to knock you out.
Yeah.
And that's why he was frightened at the time.
That's right.
There
you go. So Brad Conway, he's not seen enough action. But I'd look to see now, look, both fighters now know if they're on top, they're winning the fight. So both fighters here are going to be fighting for that top position. Watch this now.
So, gum shield check there. There's something.
His gum shield came out there from one of the strikes.
Okay.
So Brad's just had it cleaned, passed it back to him, and again there.
Nice sprawl from Liam. So he said that. He took it straight into the guard, to the side control, which he likes.
So, I mean, the story of this fight is the guy in top position's winning, and now we've got Liam back in that top position.
And there's some nice shots. That could do some fair damage to the arm, can't it, Ian?
It is, but what he's done there is, as he's pulled out the leg to find the knee, and he's let Ogendo put his own knee in to try and get close to the guard. Yeah, that's right.
See, I think Liam could go for Americana here if he pushed that arm off. If he gets that arm out. He's
Ogendo's doing a good job. Ogendo knows now that Brad's going to stand him up if there's a lack of action. So I think what he's going to do is hold on tight here. There'll be a lack of action. Brad will have to stand it up, and then Ogendo's going to try and get top position again.
But this arm is flailing, so he could go for that Americana. He could go for the Americana there. I know it's not seen a great deal in amateur MMA, but the Americana is open there.
Yes, sir. Well, look there.
And there it is. He's got. That is open. But very, very good round of MMA though there, Ian.
Yeah, I think Ogendo was on top enough to maybe get that round.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's 2 rounds to 1 so far. Yeah. We've got another 2 rounds to go, so let's see how that goes. But I mean, Liam dominated the end of that round, probably the last minute or so.
Yes, well, I mean, I've said it a couple of times now. The story of the fight is the guy in the top's winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a complete battle now with the wrestling. Who can get the top position?
Yeah, there's not a jiu-jitsu masterclass, is there? Well,
we've seen absolutely no striking stood up.
Yeah.
We've seen no real attempts at submissions. All we're seeing is guys fighting for top position and working once they're there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, mate. So again, Liam looking composed in the corner with Tom Blackledge. So is Geoff Ogendo as well, though. They're both looking, fresh to go.
Yeah, I mean, both corners are going to have told him, look, fight for that top. Do not give up top position.
Now, you see, with the 5-round title fights, I really do agree with me, and I can tell you why. Because a 5-round title fight takes you to a 15-minute fight, which will take you into your first pro fight. That's my idea behind it. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I've only trained for one of Emmanuel Fernandez for the Cage Warriors title. Was a 5-round fight. So I've only ever trained for one there, but I think the difference in training, the way you have to shift up your training for a fight like that, it does, it's those championship rounds that you used to call it in the boxing, the difference between, back then a 10-round fight and a 15-round fight. Obviously, due to television pressures, they changed it to 12 minutes, 12 rounds, because it fitted into an hour of TV.
Not like Rocky Balboa days, my friend.
No, it's just not. We don't have Muhammad Ali's anymore.
Not at all. But so Liam Davies back in the top position, winning again, like you said before, winning the round just due to the fact that he's on top position.
Well, if I was in the corner of either of these fighters, I'm saying, listen, fight everything you've got, put everything you've got in to get in the top position, because once you're there, you can just chop away, rest. It's the fight for top position that's going to win this fight.
I think what Liam's doing different in this round as well is he's posturing up to move through to another position so he can go to side control. Like now he's trying to pass across. He's posturing a lot more than he was in the first couple of rounds. He's looking. He might be slightly the fitter of the fighters. I don't know, but he's looking good so far.
Do you know, if I'm not looking for a submission, if my tactics were the same as Liam's here, I'm not bothered about passing. Half guard is just as good a position for me.
He's got
as side control.
And he's looking for
the guillotine from top.
It's a very hard position to finish, though, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah, again, like I said, that half guard for me is a great ground and pound position. You know, you can work your strikes, you can control your opponent.
Saying that, I have seen a guillotine from the top position, which was it was a while back now, but it was actually the main event tonight, Billy Glossop, when he fought Geoff Ogendo, and he got caught, and he ended up in top position, Geoff Ogendo, and still finished him with a guillotine choke. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, you do see them; they're few and far between.
I think Stapes did it as well against Shah Hussein.
Yeah,
because Shah pulled guard. It's not something you want to do with Stapes.
Throwing guard.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But Liam in a half guard now, throwing some shots down. But he's getting dragged up. Not where he wants to be. Don't want to be standing up.
Right. Jeff's corner should be saying to him now, fight for that top position. Just get out there and fight for top position. Do not go to your back.
Oh, yeah, and Liam's gone for his back. And Liam's gone straight into that position there. So now he can start again, throwing some more shots. He's winning that round. And there you go, some big shots. Not shots to knock you out, Ian, but shots to annoy you.
Again, just enough to keep it working. He's got 10 seconds left. He's firing the shots in. And again, this is going to be finished again with another round to Liam Davies.
And there we go. So that is now
so 3
on our
rounds.
Scorecards, 3-1.
That's right. So really, all Geoff can do is finish this fight. And there's been absolutely no suggestion through this fight that either of them has got the ability to finish the fight.
Which is weird because, like I say, Geoff Ogendo has finished a lot of fights, and you know what? So has Liam.
But that's the thing. I think the level, they're so close on level, the two guys, that neither of them is far enough ahead of the other to finish them.
Yeah, I can.
Unless, like we said, talking about unforced errors earlier, unless there's a mistake from one of the fighters.
But that is respect to both fighters, isn't it? To what they've.
Certainly, it just shows the level of both these guys, because obviously they've beaten good guys, they've both stopped good guys, but they've come to a level now where they're both so similar. Like I say, this whole fight has become a battle for top position.
Yeah, so we got Liam Davies looking to go to 6-1 tonight with a title in his hands, and we've got Geoff Ogendo looking to go to 4-3. 5-3 it'd be. So you can see the level. You know, they've had a lot of fights between them. It's big though, isn't it, on the amateur scene though, Ian? Like, going back a few years ago when you first started out, there was no amateur scene, was there?
No, we didn't really have an amateur scene, so it was a case of, you know, just getting in there and fighting from pro and, you know, cutting your teeth in the pro ranks.
And getting elbowed in the face.
Getting elbowed in the face in the process, yeah.
Very, very good sign of respect there from both fighters. Very respectful kids. Very enjoyable fight, this.
So we're going to see the same thing, or we're going to see some striking maybe in this final round. Both guys maybe having a change of tactic. No.
Nope, and Liam goes for that double leg. Again, drags it off, and he can get the underhook there. He can now get the underhook and turn him over, but he's going for his back.
Yep, Geoff though fighting it, he's got the arm there still looking for that single.
That's such good wrestling from Liam Davies, isn't it?
Absolutely great work there it was, because Geoff was doing all the right things, just Liam just was that little bit better.
So, you've been around this sport a long, long time, mate, and what are your thoughts on Liam's wrestling so far?
Well, I think, you know, wrestling came into MMA more sort of in the UK, especially sort of 2006 onwards. You started seeing improvement in the wrestling. You know, there was good guys with good striking, there was guys with good jiu-jitsu, but the wrestling was a sort of weaker area. I know it's something I particularly focused on, going to Aspel Wrestling Club with Roy Wood, training with Billy Cooper from Manchester. You know, decent, good level wrestling guys. And I think all the same people doing the same sort of thing. Wolf Slayer brought in a wrestling coach when they opened up. I think that was about 2005, 2006. I know they had them down at the, you know, sort of the other big gyms. London Shoot was always quite dominant because they had good wrestling there with Mario.
ASW was the same, wasn't it?
Sorry, yeah, that's right.
ASW was the same with
ASW again, always famous for the wrestling, which is why they were successful early on. And I think, like I said, to me, wrestling is the key point of MMA. If you're a good wrestler, you decide where the fight goes. So, you know, I've seen that myself in the development of MMA over the last sort of 15 years.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's great to see, isn't it? It's really good to see. Liam's got to be careful. He's had his back tuck here.
Well, this is Geoff in the best position we've seen him in. But like I said, he has to do something special. He needs to finish this fight.
He does, definitely does in this round. So Liam is now in the bottom position where he does not want to be. The way he did that, Ian, was he sort of gave his back up slightly. And, you know, he's lost his gum shield again here, but the referee's going to continue it. So, yeah, he's in a position where you don't want to be. But, end of the day, Liam has dominated for
he's holding on tight now. Obviously trying to get it stood up. Geoff needs to finish the fight here. He actually needs to finish the fight. He's got no way of winning if he doesn't use this opportunity now to finish it.
And he knows it. And you can see by the way he's going at it. You know, the fitness of these two guys is unreal, mate.
I'd suggest he's got to use the strikes to set up a submission, a key lock, or, you know, some sort of submission, because, you know, he's not going to knock him out. He's not going to get a stoppage unless he can land a load of punches unanswered, and which Liam's just too good for. And
Brad Conway is straight onto it to say, guys, you got to move.
Yeah.
And he will stand up. We know Brad will stand them both up.
Guys, so it was 10 seconds
left.
Last
10 seconds, and Liam just got to hold on for 10 seconds now.
Yeah, but great to see Geoff. I mean, this shows how close this fight is. Geoff's come back at the end. He's finished very, very strong. And it was a great backwards and forwards fight. I just think Liam won too much of the fight for it to score any other way. But, you know, that was by no means one-sided.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great fight, but I have that scorecard at least 3 rounds for Liam. So.
First of all, before we